Flavius Julius Constantius, was born on the 7th day of August in the year of our Lord 317, in the bustling city of Sirmium, located in the province of Sarvia, which is now known as Sremska Mitrovica in Serbia. My early years were steeped in the grandeur and complexity of imperial life, as I was the third son of Constantine the Great, the formidable ruler who reshaped the Roman Empire, and his wife, Fausta. Our household was a vibrant center of power and learning, where politics and philosophy intertwined, shaping our young minds. From a tender age, my brothers and I were groomed for leadership. Constantine II and Constans, my elder siblings, were my constant companions and rivals. Our father believed in the importance of a robust education, and he left no stone unturned to ensure we were well prepared for the responsibilities that lay ahead. One vivid memory stands out from my childhood. Father would gather us in the atrium of our grand residence, a space echoing with the wisdom of ages. There, we were subjected to the rigorous discipline of the Socratic method. For hours, our tutors would engage us in relentless questioning, challenging us to think critically and articulate our thoughts with precision. Why must an emperor be just? One would ask, and we would delve into debates, examining the very nature of justice and governance. It was in these sessions that the seeds of my imperial philosophy were sown. Our education was not limited to intellectual pursuits. Physical training was equally crucial. We trained in the arts of war, mastering the use of weapons and the strategies of battle. Father often reminded us that an emperor must lead by example, both in the Senate and on the battlefield. His victories, particularly the decisive battle at the Milvian Bridge, were legendary, and he made it clear that we were to uphold this legacy. Despite the rigorous training, our childhood was not devoid of joy. We enjoyed the lush gardens of our palaces, where we played and dreamed of our future reigns. My mother, Fausta, ensured that we were also versed in the softer arts, music, poetry, and the rich traditions of Roman culture. She would often narrate tales of Rome's glorious past, igniting in us a deep sense of duty to the empire. Sirmium, my birthplace, was a city of strategic importance and vibrant commerce. It was here that I first observed the complexities of imperial administration. The bustling markets, the diverse populace, and the ever-present military presence were constant reminders of the empire's vastness and the weight of the crown I was destined to wear. As I grew, the shadow of my father's greatness loomed large, but it also provided a clear path. His conversion to Christianity and the subsequent Edict of Milan, which granted religious tolerance, were transformative. These actions not only influenced the empire but also shaped my own religious beliefs and policies in the years to come. By the time I reached the age of 7, my path was set. I was no longer just a child of the empire. I was a prince destined to continue the legacy of Constantine. The responsibilities of the future emperor began to rest heavily on my young shoulders, and I was determined to prove myself worthy of the great name I bore. The years of my childhood were swiftly passing, and soon, the dawn of my public life would begin. The year 324 marked a significant turning point in my life. My father, Constantine the Great, emerged as the unrivaled ruler of the Roman Empire after defeating Licinius. His victory not only consolidated his power but also paved the way for our family's dynastic future. As a symbol of this new era, Father bestowed upon me the title of Caesar on November 8, 324, at the tender age of 7. Though young, I was acutely aware of the weight of this honor and the expectations that came with it. Our family's power dynamics were complex. My father, a towering figure in both stature and influence, was determined to secure the future of the empire through his sons. Constantine II, my eldest brother, was assigned the western provinces, including Gaul and Britain. Constans, my younger brother, was eventually granted the central regions of Italy, Illyricum, and Africa. As for me, I was entrusted with the eastern provinces, a vast and culturally diverse expanse encompassing Thrace, Macedonia, Greece, Asia, and Egypt. This division was not merely geographical. It reflected our father's strategic vision of maintaining stability and control across the empire. In these formative years, my education and training intensified. Father's victories and policies continued to be my guiding light. He took special interest in preparing me for leadership, often sharing his insights on governance, diplomacy, and military strategy. An emperor must be as wise as he is strong, he would say, imparting lessons that blended classical wisdom with his own experiences. One particularly memorable scene from this period was an audience with father in his study. The room, filled with maps, scrolls, and statues of deities, was a testament to the empire's grandeur. Father unfurled a large map of the eastern provinces, pointing out key cities and regions. "These lands will be your responsibility, Constantius. Know them well, their people, their customs, their needs. Rule them justly and they will be loyal." My duties as Caesar also included leading military campaigns. Although I was young, I was frequently taken to observe the legions, learning the intricacies of command and the art of war. Under the guidance of seasoned generals, I began to understand the strategic importance of our eastern borders, especially the ever-present threat posed by the Persian Empire under Shapur II. The Persian question would dominate much of my later reign, and these early lessons were invaluable. The year 337 brought a profound change. On May 22, my father, Constantine the Great, breathed his last. His death was a moment of immense sorrow for me personally and a time of great upheaval for the empire. As was customary, the army declared the sons of Constantine as co-emperors, but this transition was far from smooth. In the power vacuum left by my father's passing, chaos erupted. Many members of our extended family were perceived as threats, leading to a brutal massacre orchestrated by the troops. Among the victims was Constantine's half-brother, Constantius, the father of my cousin Julian. This bloodshed left a deep scar on my heart and conscience. It was a stark introduction to the ruthlessness of imperial politics and the fragile nature of power. While the historian Evtropius suggested that I had permitted, but not ordered, these killings, the stain of these events would forever be associated with my name. Julian, who would later become a significant figure in his own right, openly accused me of his father's murder, a charge that would haunt our relationship. With the empire divided among us brothers, I took control of the eastern provinces, determined to uphold the legacy of Constantine the Great. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, but I was resolute. The lessons of my youth, the counsel of my father, and the blood spilled in our name forged in me a steely determination. I vowed to protect and expand the empire, to be a just ruler, and to leave an indelible mark on the annals of history. Thus began my journey as Emperor Constantius II, a journey that would test the limits of my endurance and the strength of my spirit. My reign as Constantius II began under the shadow of familial bloodshed and the immense legacy of my father, Constantine the Great. As co-emperors, my brothers and I divided the empire, with me taking control of the eastern provinces. This region, rich in culture and history, was also fraught with external threats and internal complexities that would shape my rule. The early years of my reign were dominated by the struggle against the Persian Empire. From 338 to 350, I was engaged in a series of brutal and inconclusive battles with Shapur II. The Persian king was a formidable adversary, and our encounters were marked by intense bloodshed and strategic stalemates. These conflicts taught me the harsh realities of warfare and the importance of fortifying our eastern borders. Despite the heavy toll, I managed to hold the line, preserving the integrity of the empire's eastern frontier. Amidst these external conflicts, internal turmoil was never far. In 350, the assassination of my brother Constans by the usurper Magnentius plunged the western half of the empire into chaos. At the same time, Vetranio, the commander of the Danube forces, declared himself emperor in Illyricum. Faced with these dual threats, I returned to Europe, determined to restore unity and order. At Naissus, I confronted Vetranio. Through a combination of diplomacy and strategic maneuvering, I persuaded him to abdicate, thus neutralizing one threat without bloodshed. This was a significant victory, but the struggle with Magnentius was far from over. On September 22, 351, our forces clashed at the Battle of Mursa Major. It was one of the bloodiest battles in Roman history, and though we emerged victorious, the cost was immense. The aftermath of Mursa Major left the western provinces devastated, and my armies significantly weakened. In the midst of these conflicts, I appointed my cousin Gallus as Caesar to administer the east, hoping to stabilize that region while I focused on the west. However, Gallus proved to be a despotic and ineffective ruler. Reports of his cruelty and mismanagement reached me, and in 354, I was forced to recall and execute him, a decision that weighed heavily on me but was necessary to maintain order. The death of Gallus necessitated a new approach to managing the eastern provinces. In 355, I appointed another cousin, Julian, as Caesar. Julian was young and untested, but I saw potential in him. Little did I know that his appointment would sow the seeds of future discord. The years that followed were marked by continuous military campaigns. In 357 to 358, I led successful operations against the Sarmatian, Suebi, and Quadi tribes along the Danube, securing the northern borders. However, the Persian threat remained. In 359, Shapur II renewed his attacks, and I once again had to defend our eastern territories. These campaigns were grueling, and though we managed to repel the Persians, the constant state of warfare strained the empire's resources and my own health. One of the most significant aspects of my reign was my effort to enforce religious unity. My father's conversion to Christianity had set the stage, but the empire was still rife with theological disputes. I was a staunch supporter of Arian Christianity, which caused friction with the proponents of Nicene orthodoxy. In my quest for religious cohesion, I passed several laws against pagan practices and twice exiled Athanasius, the influential bishop of Alexandria, in 339 and 356. Despite my efforts, religious unity remained elusive, and my policies often sparked resistance and unrest. In 356, I visited Rome for the first and only time during my reign. The city, with its ancient grandeur, deeply moved me. The historian Ammianus Marcellinus recorded how I was profoundly affected by the sight of the eternal city and its people. I undertook several measures to restore and embellish the city, hoping to revive its glory and reinforce its status as the heart of the empire. As the sole ruler after 353, the burden of governance rested heavily on my shoulders. The constant state of war, the need to maintain order, and the quest for religious unity demanded my unwavering attention and resolve. My health began to deteriorate under the strain, and in 361, as I marched westward to confront Julian, who had declared himself Augustus, I fell gravely ill. At Mopsucrani in Honorius, on November 3, 361, I succumbed to my illness. My reign was a tumultuous one, marked by relentless conflict, political intrigue, and the quest for unity. Though I faced numerous challenges and my policies were often contentious, my dedication to the empire's stability and integrity never wavered. The years of my rule were shaped by the legacy of Constantine the Great, and I strove to uphold and extend that legacy until my final breath. The fateful year of 361 found me, Constantius II, weary and worn by years of relentless rule and constant conflict. The empire I had strived to protect and unify was again under threat, this time from within. My cousin Julian, whom I had appointed as Caesar in 355, had declared himself Augustus and rebelled against my authority. This betrayal cut deep, as I had placed my trust in him to govern the western provinces. As I marched westward to confront Julian, the weight of my responsibilities and the toll of continuous warfare bore heavily on my health. The Persian wars, the conflicts with barbarian tribes along the Danube, and the internecine struggles within the empire had drained my vitality. My body, once robust and resilient, now faltered under the accumulated strain. During the march, my condition worsened rapidly. By the time we reached the town of Mopsukrani in the province of Honorius, now in modern-day Turkey, I was gravely ill. It became apparent that I might not recover. Surrounded by loyal advisors and soldiers, I lay in my tent, the sounds of the camp fading into the background as I slipped in and out of consciousness. In these final moments, I reflected on my life and reign. The faces of those I had loved and lost, the battles fought, and the decisions made, all flashed before me. I thought of my father, Constantine the Great, whose shadow loomed large over my life. His vision for the empire had guided my every action, and I had strived to uphold his legacy. One scene in particular played vividly in my mind. It was from my childhood, a time when my father had gathered my brothers and me in the atrium of our grand residence. There, we engaged in intense debates guided by the Socratic method, a training ground for the minds of future emperors. My father's voice echoed in my memory, "An emperor must be as wise as he is strong." His words had been a constant reminder of the balance required to rule justly and effectively. As the end approached, I pondered the complexities of power and the responsibilities it entailed. The weight of the decisions I had made, both right and wrong, pressed upon me. I had sought to protect the empire from external threats and internal discord, to unify it under the banner of Arian Christianity, and to maintain the legacy of my father. Yet, I had also witnessed the brutal realities of power, the purges that followed my father's death, the execution of my cousin Gallus, and the exile of religious figures like Athanasius. Despite these hardships, I took solace in the fact that I had remained steadfast in my duty to the empire. My reign had seen victories and defeats, but through it all, I had endeavored to uphold the integrity and stability of Rome. On November 3, 361, surrounded by my loyal followers, I breathed my last. My death marked the end of a turbulent era, and the empire now faced an uncertain future under Julian's rule. As I passed into the annals of history, I hoped that my efforts and sacrifices would be remembered and that the empire I had fought so hard to protect would endure. Reflecting on my life and reign from the vantage point of history, I see the indelible marks I left on the Roman Empire. My legacy is a complex tapestry, woven with threads of military valor, political machinations, religious fervor, and personal sacrifices. As a ruler, my reign was defined by the constant defense of the empire's borders. The Persian wars against Shapur II were a significant aspect of my legacy. Though the conflicts were grueling and often inconclusive, my perseverance ensured that the eastern frontier remained resilient against Persian incursions. My military campaigns along the Danube against the Sarmatian, Suebi, and Quadi tribes further showcased my commitment to safeguarding the empire from external threats. Internally, my reign was marked by efforts to enforce religious unity. As a staunch supporter of Arian Christianity, I sought to establish a unified theological doctrine across the empire. This mission led to contentious policies, including the exile of prominent Orthodox figures like Athanasius of Alexandria. My dedication to Arianism was driven by a desire for a cohesive religious identity, though it often sparked resistance and discord. One of the most profound aspects of my legacy is the impact on my family and successors. The execution of my cousin Gallus, the tumultuous relationship with Julian, and the power struggles with my brothers underscored the brutal realities of imperial politics. These actions, though necessary for maintaining stability, left lasting scars on the imperial family and influenced the subsequent course of Roman history. Despite the controversies and challenges of my reign, I am remembered for my unwavering dedication to the empire. My efforts to restore and embellish Rome during my visit in 356 reflected my reverence for the city's historical and cultural significance. The historian Ammianus Marcellinus captured the emotional depth of my connection to Rome, a testament to my enduring respect for the empire's traditions. As the sole ruler after 353, I navigated the complexities of governance with determination and resilience. The legacy of Constantine the Great served as both a guiding light and a formidable benchmark. My father's vision for a unified and powerful Roman Empire shaped my every decision, and I endeavored to uphold and extend his legacy. In the years following my death, the empire continued to evolve. Julian's ascension to power marked a new chapter, and his policies diverged significantly from mine. However, the foundations I laid in terms of military defense, administrative governance, and religious policy influenced the trajectory of the empire long after my passing. In conclusion, my life and reign as Constantius II were a testament to the complexities of imperial rule. My legacy is one of dedication, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of stability and unity for the Roman Empire. As history continues to reflect on my contributions, I remain a figure who navigated the tumultuous waters of power with unwavering resolve, leaving an indelible mark on the empire I served. Thank you for watching. Our channel, known as the Renaissance Spirit, is dedicated to the pursuits of a just, equitable, and humanitarian world. Video topics encompass areas including history, politics, religion, personal development, society, culture, social and environmental justice, and other topics of liberal arts and sciences including ancient Rome and the Roman Empire, which is a great comparison and contrast of the modern world. Topics perfect for the true modern polymath. The Renaissance ushered in a golden age and the pursuit of knowledge both lost to time and yet to be discovered. It gave birth to the Enlightenment and the Age of Reason. Embracing truth, knowledge, and an understanding and compassion for humanity and our shared history opens up the world to each of us, individually, and improves all of humanity, affording us the opportunity to be better stewards of the earth and to each other. The Renaissance spirit, more than just a philosophy or style, but a style for living, learning, growing and thinking. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, and share. If you're looking to explore and experience what life has to offer, I'm sure you'll enjoy the other videos on my channel. Please peruse, and let me know in the comments what you get out of them and what other videos you'd like to see. But first, please take the quiz next to see if you're a Renaissance spirit. Live the Renaissance spirit.